Okay, let's get started. Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us here this afternoon on day one. It's been a very busy day already. We've had about 150 different Azure announcements that hopefully you're all well aware of and tracking the impact for all of your environments and the change that will cause you. But in this session, we're really going to talk about the Azure roadmap, how to stay up to date after you leave Ignite, and all of the capabilities that change throughout the year as well. My name's Alistair Spears. I'm here today with Evelyn Ozzie. We are part of the Azure Service Operations team. Our job is to make all of these changes that go on within our Azure services as transparent to you and as timely to you so that you know what is going on and you can factor that into your own workflow as well. I was kind of flying here and listening to music, and this lyric struck me from a David Bowie song, Changes. I'm sure you all know the song. I won't sing it, maybe later. But the line, turn and face the strain, I think that's often what this change is like when we're dealing with technology. And it's kind of interesting, as I was sitting there on a plane that was introduced before this song was written in 1973. And if you think about all of the changes that's happened in technology since then, you know, the transition from like the PDP-10 to what servers and computers look like today, what old mainframes look like compared to clouds. It's just a massive change. And if you didn't like change, it feels like airline maintenance was the right industry to go in because they're still flying those 737s. You know, if we look at the pace of change in Azure, we made this slide a while ago. It was the last 3 months of change. We realized what a bad idea it was to make a slide like this because it was so hard to keep up to date every week as things changed in Azure as well. So we get the pain. Like this change, the amount of change that's happening in Azure, the speed of change in all of these cloud computing environments is often a challenge, and it's easy to miss them. I sit in a building surrounded by my peers working on the Azure team, and I still miss things that the person 3 doors away is working on. So we feel this pain, and that's why we really focus on how we can do this at scale. And just like we build Azure services to scale, to run at scale, we look at that same way as we build our communication tools as well. And we really divide them into these 3 groupings. You know, what is the communications to inform you? What are the things that we do to advise or recommend how you can optimize your existing environment? And then what are the features that we need to alert you to, whether that's planned maintenance, whether that's an incident, or whether that's a breaking change that's coming that you need to be cognizant on and aware of as well. We do have some separate sessions around advise, THR2187, and also the alerts in THR1063. I'd really encourage you to check those sessions out. If you can't attend them here in person, definitely check them out in the recordings as well, because they really complete our service communications trifecta, if you like, as well. This session, we're focusing in on the inform piece, and in particular about that inform piece, the roadmap items as well. Now, communications is a two-way street. So this is us communicating with you at scale. We have a lot of scale listening systems as well, whether that's through service telemetry of what capabilities people are using, whether that's through support requests, our user voice tools, and again, conferences like this. We have over 1,000 of our Azure engineering team here staffing the expo area, so definitely take the time to talk to them, give them your feedback as well, because this community interaction is a key listening system for us as well. But when we bring it into the inform section, there's obviously the blogs and the newsletters, and I think of those blogs as kind of the narrative. They're the why. Why did we make this change? What did we think we were building in this change as well? And it's kind of the story of the change as well. But as we think about the roadmap is really the change log or the release notes of all the change that's going on in Azure as well. As you can expect, we get a lot of feedback around the roadmap. Change is great. When you're not aware of change, it may as well be an incident because those things can kind of creep up on you as well. And so the things that we've heard is that we need one place to see what's released in Azure. We need to understand the capabilities that are coming to Azure. We can't keep track of all the blogs. You know, a blog quickly rolls off the front page of our blog after a week. And so if you miss a feature, it's very hard to refer to it and go back to it as well. in addition to the feature availability, and as we work on these features and as these features ship, there's also the challenge that they ship at different times in different places around the world. And so managing not only where a feature is, whether it's generally available, whether it's in preview, whether it's in development, but also what is its state in that matrix of regions across the world is a challenge. And so we really look at how we can improve the transparency of which services are available where. And then finally, and this is probably the biggest one that we get and the one that we've most recently added to our roadmap tooling, is I need to see estimated release dates. I need to understand when a feature is coming to a particular region so that I can bet on it and bake it into my plans. And so these are the capabilities that we're really thinking about solving through our roadmap tools today. So I'm going to start with a fictional customer example. I decided not to use Contoso. I decided to use someone that operates at a little higher scale than Contoso, and that's Santa Claus. Santa Claus runs a global organization. There's a lot of logistics involved, a lot of presents. I guess you could say he's great at containers. Yeah, I'll cut that joke from the next repeat, I think. But he has a couple of requirements. This here isn't Santa, obviously. This is one of Santa's business consultants. And he's understood that Santa has a lot of key needs. He needs to make a list. And for making a list, Evelyn, what would you say? What would we recommend Santa making a list?
If he's making a list, I would probably suggest Azure SQL Database.
Great answer. He's prioritizing resources based on a behavioral model to understand which children have been naughty or nice.
Yeah, then maybe Azure Machine Learning.
Okay. Finally, all of his customers are sending in like a handwritten note with requests that requires digitization and indexing into his system.
For that one, I would suggest Azure Search.
Azure Search. And then finally, he faces some pretty unique compliance constraints around the world. In particular, looking at this app for the European Union, US, and Canada, the children of Australia are too naughty, and the rest of the world will phase out later. So what would you recommend that Santa look at there?
He should really look at the regions that those services are available.
Great.
Yeah.
So with that, how about we jump into a demo and show you what these tools look like for you to understand and make sense of all the roadmap capabilities. So over to you, Evelyn.
Thanks, Alistair. Okay, so as we mentioned, we are suggesting to Santa to use Azure SQL Database, Azure Machine Learning, as well as Azure Search. And so as Alistair mentioned, the pace of change in Azure is really fast. And in order for Santa to be an effective Azure user, we want him to stay up to date on the Azure roadmap. But how? And so here, we are on the Azure Updates page. And the Azure Updates site on azure.com is the place to learn about important product updates as well as roadmap changes. So you're going to notice on this page here that you can filter by status. So regardless of the status of an update, you can look at all of the updates all in one place. You can also filter by things that are generally available in preview, as well as what we're working on in development. And all of these updates are sorted by date posted. Now, one of the products that we have suggested to Santa is Azure SQL Database. And so you can actually filter by product search as well as update type. So first I'm going to go through the product search. And so Santa can go down here and select Azure SQL Database. And now the page has loaded with all of the updates that pertain to Azure SQL Database. You can see even the announcements that were made today at Ignite are loaded onto this site. Santa could even go one step further and filter by things that we're working on in development. And so now Santa can see anything that we're working on in development for SQL Database. And then on top of that, he can also subscribe to the RSS feed in order to keep up to date on anything that's in development around Azure SQL Database. Now, if you click into any of these updates, you're going to get a little bit more detail about that particular update, as well as relevant links to documentation, blog posts, as well as the product page. You'll also notice at the bottom here that you'll be able to submit feedback. So if you have feedback around what you'd like to see, or if you want more detail, you can submit any kind of feedback you'd like within a post, as well as upvote anybody else's feedback that you've seen related to that page. Okay, so now that I've gone through the product search, we can also filter by update type. So if I click down here on the drop-down, you'll notice whether you're interested in compliance certifications or pricing and offerings, SDK and tools, or even at events like Microsoft Ignite, you can filter any of the update types that you're looking for. And so I want to show you a page that we've launched today. This is the Microsoft Ignite 2018 News and Highlights. So this page is actually fed directly from the Azure Updates page. However, it's filtered by anything that was announced at Ignite. So of those 150 announcements that Alistair was talking about across 700 sessions this week, how are you supposed to stay up to date across all of that? And so this is the page that we've created so that you have one place that you can stay informed. You can also subscribe to the RSS feed so you can stay informed on any of those changes to the products as they go along, anything that you heard about at Ignite.
Great. And that RSS feed is filterable. So as you do that search, as you pick those particular areas that you're interested in, you can get a customized RSS feed. So if you're just interested in the security and compliance changes or the data center changes, you can get that through the system as well.
Yeah. So I encourage you to check out the Ignite page when you get a chance. Now back to the Azure Updates page. On the right-hand side, you're going to see different links to resources. You'll see that there's a link to the Azure blog for the latest Azure news. You'll also notice that you have the ability to provide feedback on the page itself. So you can tell us what you think of Azure, as well as tell us what you want to see in Azure in the future. And then lastly, you'll see that there's a link to check product availability in your region. So now, Santa, if we go back to the example, Santa's used the Azure Updates page to see all updates related to Azure SQL Database, Azure Machine Learning, as well as Azure Search. But now he needs to understand where he can use those services. So we'd go ahead and click on that link, and it's going to take you to the products available by region site on azure.com. On this site, this is actually powered by our engineering roadmap systems. So you can see what services are available and where. And so first, as we mentioned, we've suggested 3 different services to Santa Claus. We have Azure SQL Database, so you can actually type in what you're looking for. So if I just start typing in SQ, you'll notice that it populates with relevant results. So I'll click on Azure SQL Database. Now, in case Santa doesn't know exactly what he's looking for and just wants to browse through all of our products, he can browse here by clicking on the drop-down, and everything is filtered by product categories. And so you'll see in AI and machine learning, Santa can select machine learning services, as well as Azure Search. So now we've selected the 3 services that Santa's interested in. Now we'll look at the regions drop-down. This regions drop-down, you'll notice, shows all of the places that Azure is available. So that includes the public cloud as well as sovereign clouds, including Azure Government. But Alistair mentioned that Santa Claus has some compliance constraints with data residency around the US, Europe, as well as Canada. And so Santa Claus can select these areas, and you'll notice that the grid automatically populates with what we were looking for. You'll notice Canada, Europe, United States, as well as all of the regions within those geographies. And then you'll also see that the products that we've selected, Azure Search, Machine Learning, and Azure SQL Database, are included. You're also going to see on the table key that there are 3 different statuses. There's generally available, in preview, and future availability. Now, anything in preview or future availability that has a blue circle highlighting it, that means that you can hover over that icon and see the estimated release date. Now, you might be wondering what future availability means. That means that a particular service is not currently in preview or GA within a region. However, it's coming in the future, and you can hover over it to find out when it's coming. So, typically, Santa Claus likes to choose regions with the word north in it. It seems like it's closer to home to him, and so he's probably going to want to select either North Central US or North Europe. However, you're going to notice that that's probably not the right place for him to go. You might be asking yourself why, and that's just because if you look at the three services that we've suggested to Santa Claus, Azure Search and Azure SQL Database are both generally available in North Europe. However, machine learning services are missing in that region. And so of those three services, he really wanted to find a region where all of the capabilities he's looking for are available. In that case, I would suggest to him to use East US 2. Here you'll see that Azure Search is generally available. You'll also notice that Azure SQL Database is generally available. And then Machine Learning Services is in preview, and it's highlighted with a blue circle. That means you can hover over it, and you'll notice that it says that general availability is expected in Q4 2018, just in time for the holidays.
Thanks, Evelyn. Long setup for that joke, but we got there.
Sorry.
So, what did we see there? You know, we saw a lot of the data centers, and that products available by region really simplified, you know, the huge size and scale that Azure has behind the scenes. You know, there's 2 million miles of fiber connecting all of these data centers together. There's a lot of choices and a lot of different regions you can choose. And so the big question there is, like, which region should you choose? And if you take away nothing else in this session, our strong suggestion is not to choose the closest region, but to choose the region that has the features that you need to run your services in. There's a great session, BRK3347, which Mark Rasinovich will be delivering on Thursday. It'll talk a lot more about behind the scenes inside of these data centers. We don't have the 2 hours or so it'll take to do that justice here, but I'd strongly recommend you check out that session. So to highlight, like Azure Updates, think of Azure Updates as the changelog or the release notes to everything that goes on inside of Azure. It's an automated tool that as we get changes, as we formalize things that are in development, in preview, and generally available, we update it there in that changelog. It's not a marketing site, it's not a blog, it just has a very short description of all of these changes, and you can search for it over time and see when those changes came in as well. A region's made up of many data centers, so just by picking one region, you're not limited. In that case, it's load balanced within that particular region. And the closest data center is not always the right data center. Latency, you know, a lot of questions about latency. Generally, latency is fairly negligible, or it's on that last mile where we see the most challenges with latency. Once you're on our network, it's very fast to connect around between those areas, and even if you're operating in Europe and you're trying to connect back to a North American data center, you're probably looking at kind of sub 200 milliseconds latency once you get on that network. And doing the trace, you kind of see most of that latency on just the time it takes to connect from your location into the Microsoft backbone. And once you're in the Microsoft backbone, there's plenty of connectivity for everybody on that service as well. Different services are available at different times in different regions. When you hear things like preview and general availability, the next thing you should ask is where, because during this week you'll hear that a lot as we announce new features and release new capabilities, but check back to products available by region to make sure you understand where that's coming in your environment as well. And of course, you're not limited to picking one region. You can pick different apps for different regions and those sorts of things. You know, we'd recommend that you pick your application grouping or your resource grouping to all be in that same region, because any assets that are within that application that are communicating will have less latency if they're running in the data center. But that's not restricted to you. You can spread your resource out for the right architecture across different regions if you think that makes sense for you as well. So, change is a feature of Azure. It's kind of what we signed up for. It keeps us current. It keeps us always on the latest stuff and gives us access to Kubernetes, Databricks, and all these weird and wonderful terms that we'll hear this week as well. they're always available in Azure. It's only a bug if you're not aware of it. And so use this Azure Updates site, use the product available by regions site so that you know what's coming as well. We have links in the deck, and you can download this after the event as well. And so this is just one of the habits. We have 5 effective habits of highly effective Azure users that we're talking about. Hopefully everyone here is an Azure user, but there is a lot more to make the best out of Azure. All of these services that we're talking about here are free. They don't require you buying any extra services. They're really habits or behaviors that we've seen customers that are successful with Azure really use across staying in control of your resources, staying informed during issues and maintenance, staying up to date with the latest announcements, and then sharing best practices that we hear from the rest of the community. So I'd strongly encourage you to check out these sessions or follow up with us at the 5 Habits booth, which is over in the Expo Center. We're kind of in the applications and infrastructure section. If you look for a sign that says web and mobile, we are next to that. We don't have our own big sign, apologies. And with that, thank you very much for listening.